Chapter 10: The Rescue. Back in the present day, the portal opens and out steps Ager and Rigard. Rigard looks around and they are in a temple he recognized from a child.
I never thought I would come back to this country. I thought we were going to see our parents. Why did we stop here?
They're not expecting you. A lot has happened. I thought it would be good for us to talk for a while. I picked this temple because it has been abandoned for years. We could get here unseen.
Ager motions for Rigard to follow him. He comes to a closet and pulls out a black hooded cape.
Put this on so I can get you in to see Father. He seems to be terribly upset with you.
So what happened after I left?
Rigard asked.
You were hidden away in your room studying.
After you disrespected him and decided to leave. Mother and Father argued for a while. She told him he needed to not be so prideful, otherwise he wouldn't lose a son. The Emperor called all the emirs to arms to fight the Bolin army. As you know, they battled for years again, till both kingdoms requested a ceasefire.
Rigard put the hood over his head, partially covering his face.
Father got injured during the battles, and Thempak became the leader of our city. And Father became just a figurehead.
I left because he was going to punish me for something Thempak did. I had no choice but to leave,
said Rigard.
Thempak always was extremely ambitious. He always wanted things his way even when we were kids.
Thempak tried to make some political moves to better our family's standing by increasing our land through conquest. This started a feud with another emir.
The two walked towards the exit of the abandoned temple. The temple is about a mile from the castle gates, and the two begin their walk to the home he swore never to return.
As revenge for Thempak's actions, the emir took our sister captive and is going to force her to marry one of his sons to gain rights to our city. As compensation for marrying his son, our land becomes his, as per the emperor's law from old. As you know, the only way to stop this marriage is by the Vannin.
I will help our sister Rajani escape from a life of slavery. I care little about what happens to our family home. Where did you learn so much about magic?
Asked Rigard.
I was studying magic here, even a couple years before you ran off. I was able to talk Father into letting me further my education in the country of Eodior. He paid for me to go there. I was a quick study, where I learned the physics of magic, how it interacted in different environments. This quick study gave a good foundation to expand my knowledge. While there, I kept in touch with Mother and talked to Father occasionally. Thempak had no interest in keeping in touch. I know Mom will be happy to see you. Father will be reluctant. I think he will come around. Thempak's jealousy most likely will come through. He always thought of us as competition and enjoyed that we were no longer around. Honestly, I thought you were dead up till about 3 years ago. I learned to scry for individuals, and the first thing is I grabbed one of the few items that Mother was holding onto of yours and found you. I saw you were a great swordsman, helping others, and knew it wasn't time yet to talk with you.
I saw the greed of Thempak and our father, and knew I didn't want to follow in their footsteps.
Rigard responded.
Ever since Father lost his leg, he realized that what he was striving for wasn't important, and he lost what was actually most dear.
Ager stated. They arrived at the castle gate, and Savar and a couple men were guarding the entrance.
Ager, who is with you?
I found a great warrior who can help us get my sister back from Churak. Please let us through.
Ager implored, his voice echoing with determination. As Savar stepped aside and attempted to peer under the hood, he found the warrior's face shrouded in darkness, its features obscured from view. With a mixture of hope and apprehension, Savar followed Rigard and Ager as they made their way toward the family chamber, the weight of their quest heavy upon their shoulders. As they entered the chambers, Rigard's gaze fell upon his mother, Arahi, seated beside Thempak on the family thrones. His father, Mathi, occupied the advisor's spot. His absence felt keenly as he leaned on his crutch, his missing leg a stark reminder of past trials. Ager's words hung in the air, and with a nod from him, Rigard removed his hood, revealing his face to his astonished family. Arahi's eyes filled with tears, and she made to rise, but Thempak's arm across her chest halted her motion, silently urging her to remain seated. Mathi, his expression a mix of shock and disbelief, rose unsteadily, his crutch supporting him as he uttered words that hung heavy in the air.
Thought you were dead.
Why do you bring him before us? He is still the brat who left us 10 years ago. We don't need him. Savar, escort him out.
Wait, He is here to help. He can be our champion as per trial by combat for our sister's honor. It's a win-win for you, my brother. If he fails, you don't lose any soldiers. If he is successful, he will leave and be gone like before. You know, Savar, who is our best fighter, is too old to be the champion, and the Emperor's champion is backing Charak.
Bring out the challenge swords.
Ordered Thimpak.
Let's see if he is worthy of being the champion like you think. Savar, get 3 of your best men.
As Savar leaves, he looks at Rigard and smiles as he puts his hand on his shoulder as he passes.
Hope you are as good as Ager thinks. Glad you're alive, young master. We will show you no mercy.
Rigard nodded in acknowledgement, his gaze steady and determined.
I won't let you down, Savar.
He replied, his voice brimming with confidence. As Savar departed, Rigard turned his attention back to the daunting task that lay ahead, his resolve steeling in the face of the impending trial by combat. With a silent vow to do whatever it took to emerge victorious and secure his sister's freedom, Rigard steeled himself for the challenges that awaited him. As Savar left the chamber, a rack full of Kazan swords on them without edges on them gets carried in. As it is set down, Rigard takes off his cloak, folds it, and sets Stormweaver on top of it. He approaches the rack of swords and looks carefully at them and grabs 2 different swords and compares the balance, quickly picking a sword. It didn't take long for Savar to return with 3 soldiers who quickly grabbed a sword and readied themselves. Thimpak sat back smugly in his chair. Savar asked,
Who do you want fight first?
Rigard responded,
Let's make it somewhat fair. All 4 of you at once.
As Rigard made his request, the soldiers exchanged glances, a mixture of surprise and uncertainty flickering across their faces. Nonetheless, they quickly composed themselves, adopting a stance of readiness as they awaited Rigard's command to begin. With a determined nod, Rigard signaled the start of the duel, his grip firm on his chosen sword as he braced himself for the coming onslaught. Savar walked up and grabbed a sword. Savar and the 3 soldiers began to encircle Rigard. As the first soldier began to attack, he slipped through the attack, landing a blow directly between the eyes, almost instantly knocking the soldier out, and he fell to the ground. The second and third soldiers attacked the back of Rigard. Rigard stepped to the left, swung his sword around, parrying both attacks, then swinging a blow at the second soldier, making him immediately fall unconscious to the ground. Continuing his swing, he hit the third soldier in the temple area, knocking him unconscious. Savar swung at Rigard. The attack was easily parried. Rigard maneuvered his sword to disarm Savar and began a strong swing upwards as Savar's weapon flew from his hands. The blow went hard between Savar's legs, stopping no more than a half-inch from his groin.
Am I good enough?
Yelled Rigard. Ager smiled, knowing no one was a match for him. Savar had a look of shock on his face. Thimpak looked disappointed that his men were so easily beaten. As the dust settled and the last soldier crumpled to the ground, defeated, Rigard stood triumphant amidst the fallen adversaries. His breaths came in steady, controlled rhythm, adrenaline coursing through his veins as he surveyed the aftermath of the brief yet intense skirmish. With a flicker of satisfaction in his eyes, he turned to face Savar, the tension between them palpable as their gazes met. Savar's expression was a mix of astonishment and respect, his earlier skepticism replaced by undeniable admiration for Rigard's skill and prowess. Slowly, he nodded in acknowledgement, a silent admission of defeat mingled with a newfound respect for his opponent. Ager's smile widened, a glimmer of pride evident in his eyes as he watched his brother emerge victorious from the impromptu trial by combat. The realization dawned upon him that Rigard was indeed a force to be reckoned with, his abilities surpassing even the loftiest expectations. Thimpak's brow furrowed in contemplation, his gaze shifting between Rigard and his father. After a moment of silence, Thimpak spoke, his voice heavy with consideration.
Trial by combat. It may indeed be our best option, given the circumstances.
He turned to Mati, his expression softening slightly.
Father, what say you? Are you willing to stake our sister's honor on this outsider's blade?
Matthew's eyes met Thimpak's, a mixture of uncertainty and resolve flickering within them as he considered the weight of his son's proposal.
Brother, send the challenge. Let them know your brother will fight for your sister in ritual combat. Send one to the Emperor so Charak cannot refuse.
Ager said.
Fine, he can stay in his old room.
Thimpak ordered. Arahi stood up and went to Rigard and gave him a hug.
You have grown into a strong young man. We need to catch up on what happened after you left. We all thought you were dead.
Savar motioned for Rigard to follow him as they left the chamber.
What you did was amazing. I have never seen anything like that. You could take over my position and lead this family to greatness again.
I am here for my sister only. I have no desire for anything from my inheritance or my family. It is good to see you again. Sorry on how I treated you the last time we met.
As Rigard and his mother Arahag got to Rigard's room, Rigard hung his cowl, storm weaver, and his body armor up on a stand. Rigard began rummaging through his room, picking up an old stick he used to use as a sword.
I left it as you had it, just in case you would come back.
Arahi said.
Now give your mother a hug, and tell me about what happened.
The two hugged, and then his mother sat down on the bed.
Come tell me about everything.
Rigard started with how tough the first night was and that he burned his meal the first night. The next couple days were not bad, and he told her about his time with the pirates and then the temple in North Otros. He then told her about his time after he left the temple and began going on quests to help those who were defenseless. There were some close calls fighting monsters that snuck over to Bolin, and now he has his first real friend in Tristan, and that he needs this to end quickly so he can get back to him to fight the invasion of monsters from the dreaded wasteland. His mother told him about his father and brother, how them pack took over and basically is running everything, not even listening to his father's advice. The two talked a couple hours, and she left him. Rigard soon went to sleep.
It is weird laying in this bed again.
The next morning, as Rigard woke up, Ager knocked and walked into his room.
We got a response, and in 4 days we will go to a neutral site where you will face their champion. Rest and do whatever you need to prepare.
Rigard spent the next couple days talking with Ager and his mother Arahi, bringing back memories of the good times before he felt he had to leave the family. The days passed quickly, and Rigard got ready. Putting on his armor and cloak while ensuring Storm Weaver is securely tied to his side. Ager arrived in Rigard's room.
I have about 4 of these ether stones. Stand over there while I cast this portal. I think it is best if we don't tell anyone about your ether draining abilities. I am the only one who will be affected by them.
Rigard moves to the edge of the room as Ager uses up one of his ether stones and casts portal to the neutral arena. The two walks through the portal, and Ager quickly positions himself out of the range of Rigard. The two looked around and they saw Churuk's army positioned on one side of the arena and the army of his brother on the other side. Churuk standing near his army appears to be a contradiction in terms of appearance and demeanor for someone of royal standing. He presents himself as rather average in height, standing at around 5 feet 6 inches, and his hair, lighter than typical, frames his face untidily. His beard, though present, lacks fullness, giving him a slightly unkempt look. His demeanor stands out more than his physical appearance. Churuk's mannerisms often tend toward inconsiderate or unconventional behavior, creating an impression that seems unfitting for someone of royal lineage. Despite his noble status, his manners might suggest a lack of refinement or adherence to traditional etiquette expected of royalty. Overall, Churuk's appearance, behavior, and attire present a distinct contrast, revealing a character who might challenge conventional notions of royalty through his demeanor and style, despite his privileged background. The Emperor of Lumidris was standing in front of the throne. The Emperor of Lumidris stands tall, around 6 feet in height, carrying himself with a dignified air befitting his position. His thick, dark black hair cascades down his shoulders. His attire reflects the regal splendor of the era, adorned in royal garments. A luxurious robe, richly embroidered with intricate patterns and adorned with ornate golden threads, drapes elegantly over his frame. The fabric, a testament to skilled craftsmanship, shimmers with opulence under the light, showcasing his noble status. The strands are meticulously groomed, with subtle waves framing his face, emphasizing his commanding presence. Beneath the resplendent robe, he wears finely tailored tunic and trousers, also embellished with intricate designs that hint at the opulence of Lumidrisian royalty. His attire, although lavish, exudes a sense of authority and grace, symbolizing his power and position as the Emperor of Lumidris. Standing behind him looks like one of his advisors, a man that carries an air of intimidation with sharp and piercing eyes that could look through someone. His skin is slightly darker than those around him with a tint of yellow. his face having sharp angular facial features and a strong jawline that is uncommon for those from La Madras. His presence almost overshadows that of the emperor standing in front of him. And his troops were on another side of the arena. Thimpak and Churuk walk towards the emperor and each sit on both sides of the emperor and his advisor. Sitting in front of the emperor was Rigard's sister Rajani Bodies, a striking beauty with her long, dark hair cascading gracefully down her back, framing her fair and flawless complexion. Her face boasts symmetrical features that enhance her natural allure. Her captivating appearance, combined with an innate elegance, makes her an enchanting presence in any setting. The emperor stands up and so does everyone else in the stands. The emperor motions for everyone to take their seats.
Today, we follow a ritual that has kept our country strong. A way to settle disputes without loss to our overall military might. The petitioner Thimpak challenged Churuk to ritual combat be champion.
Yelled the emperor.
Thimpak has chosen his champion, and Churuk has chosen his. As per the law, Churuk chose to the death, and an outside champion from the Imperial Guard.
A towering behemoth of a man, standing an imposing 6 feet 8 inches tall, strode into the arena with an aura of undeniable power and authority. Clad from head to toe in formidable plate armor, he exuded an air of invincibility as he brandished a colossal battle axe with ease, its gleaming blade reflecting the flickering light of the arena. With each heavy footfall, the ground trembled beneath his weight, a testament to his sheer physical prowess and unyielding strength. As he reached the center stage, he raised his weapon high overhead, the imposing silhouette of the axe casting a menacing shadow over the arena. With a thunderous roar, he swung the axe with effortless precision, cleaving a nearby fence in half with a single mighty blow. The resounding impact reverberated through the air, sending shockwaves of awe and fear rippling through the crowd. In a display of deference and respect, the colossal figure saluted the emperor, his gesture a silent proclamation of loyalty and allegiance. And as Rigard mirrored the salute in return, the stage was set for a clash of titans, a battle of strength and skill that would determine the fate of their sister and the honor of their family.
Let the battle begin,
declared the emperor, setting the stage for a clash of warriors. Without a moment's hesitation, the towering man swung his axe towards Rigard. Displaying remarkable agility, Rigard executed a seamless backflip, narrowly evading the lethal strike. As the man attempted a second swing, Rigard sidestepped, simultaneously drawing the ominous Storm Weaver from its sheath, a black blade that demanded attention. Ager, perceptive to the magical attempts against Rigard, noticed a mage struggling with body spells, realizing the futility without an ether stone. A confident smile played on Ager's lips, recognizing the strategic advantage. In the heat of battle, Rigard's strikes initially seemed ineffective against the impregnable armor of his colossal opponent. With each resounding blow, his sword met unyielding resistance, thwarted by the formidable defenses of his adversary. Yet, Rigard remained undaunted, his focus unwavering as he sought out vulnerabilities in the enemy's defenses. As the massive soldier unleashed another thunderous swing, Rigard's keen eyes caught a subtle flaw in the armor, a hairline crack where the plates met the helmet. With lightning reflexes, Rigard parried the blow, using the momentum to shift the balance of the fight in his favor. Exploiting the opening with precision and skill, Rigard maneuvered his sword with lethal accuracy, driving it through the crack in the armor. With a resounding clang, the soldier's helmet fell to the ground, revealing the lifeless form within. The arena fell silent, the only sound the echoing clang of metal meeting stone, a testament to Rigard's prowess as a warrior and the triumph of skill over brute strength. The emperor, soldiers, and spectators alike stood in stunned silence at the unexpected turn of events. The emperor reluctantly rose, acknowledging the outcome.
As per the law, Rajani Kingsbury will be released to the champion, and all feudal actions must cease immediately.
Churuk unchained Rajani, who sprinted towards her relieved parents. Ager, utilizing another ether crystal, opened a portal for his family and Rigard to pass through, leaving the arena in the wake of the astonishing victory.
Son, can I convince you to stay for a short while? At least let me have a feast in your honor. Your mother told me all you have been doing, and I am proud of the honorable man you have become.
Please just 1 or 2 more days.
His mother begged. Rigard stayed for a couple days and reunited with his family. They had a large meal and he told stories of some of his adventures. parts of them when he was with his friend Tristan, some when he was young with Bellamy, and his training in the temple. The days passed and it was time for Rigard to reunite with his friend Tristan.
Stand back. I'm going to make a portal back to Hoffen. I promise you, he will come back more to visit.
The portal opens and Ager and Rigard walk through the portal, and it closes behind them. As the days passed, Rigard enjoyed precious moments of reunion with his family, sharing tales of his adventures and experiences gleaned from his travels. From the daring escapades alongside his friend Tristan to the rigorous training undergone in the temple, Rigard regaled his loved ones with stories that painted vivid pictures of the trials and triumphs he had faced. But as the time for departure drew near, Rigard's heart grew heavy with the bittersweet knowledge that he must soon bid farewell once more. With a solemn resolve, he stood before his family, a sense of duty calling him back to his friend Tristan's side. With a firm nod to his kin, Rigard prepared to embark on the journey ahead, knowing that the bonds of family would endure despite the distance that separated them. As Ager and Rigard stepped through the portal, leaving behind the familiar comforts of home, they carried with them the memories of shared laughter and cherished moments, a reminder of the unbreakable ties that bound them together, no matter the distance.